Little bitch really fuck it up. On her handstand doing tricks, fuck it up. If you wait from the game, you get hit with these slugs. 8-point stand, little bitch, fuck it up on that gang. Bitch, do your thing. And your bitch in the party getting hit by the whole damn gang. Oh no! You already know I like Risha, Keisha, run around town.
What's up, you guys? I'm back, and I'm back with another video. This time, this video is going to be a little different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do makeup, but the twist to this one is that I'm going to use this app called Tiny Decisions. I'm going to put a clip in of what the app looks like, and yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm basically going to spin a spinner, and it's gonna have different colors on it, and it's actually also gonna have names of different palettes that I own. And from there, I'm gonna create whatever look. Hopefully I don't wind up looking crazy. Little disclaimer here, I'm not a licensed cosmetologist or beautician, whatever. I just do whatever works for me. Makeup wise, if it don't come out, I take it off. Like, boom, it's that simple. So whatever look I wind up coming up with, if you guys don't like it, it's fine, because it's not like I'm a professional and I can say, yeah, I be slaying it. But yeah, so we're gonna get into the video. Alright, you guys, so as you can see, I already have my eyebrows done and my eyelids are primed. Hold on, because this is annoying me real quick. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to set in my, I'm gonna set this in. Alright, you guys, so I have everything set. As you guys seen, I came up with, well, what came out was red, gold, silver, and white. And I have to use the MYO Stacks, the Morphe 35B palette, and the Morphe 25A palette. So without further ado, let's get into this masterpiece. So right now I'm basically about to apply my transition shade. I'm gonna use the Morphe 25A palette. And I'm gonna use that shade right there, don't know the name of it. And I'm gonna just apply that all over the eye, just so that it's not so chalky, because I hate chalky backgrounds over my eye. I don't know why people just leave it that way, but whatever works. So yeah, what I do to the left eye, I'm gonna continuously do to the right eye. I'm gonna try to make it as seamless as possible, you know, so it can like look like a look, you know. But yeah, so I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the shade that I used for my eye is, okay, unfortunately I don't know. But yeah, so now I'm gonna go into the colorful palette, which is the 35B palette. And trust me guys, I really did not know where I was going with this look, but wait, yeah, I think I used the wrong palettes. But anyway, whatever works. It's all about the colors at the end of the day. But yeah, so I really didn't know where I was going with this look. I just knew that I was going to be using those colors. And yeah, so those were the palettes that I had to use, which was the Morphe 35B, the Morphe 25A, and the MYO Stacks. So no, I did have the right palettes. But yeah, so what I basically attempted to do, was I had attempted to use the Morphe 35B palette, and I basically dipped into the red. And when I dipped into the red, I'll tell you this much. When it comes to the pigment portion of the Morphe palettes, I don't feel like they're as heavily pigmented as I would like for a look that's dealing with pigments. But I guess you just gotta work with what you got. So, with that being said, I just basically continued to make sure that that area was seamless. There was no breaks in it, and went right into that palette. Picked up that red. Now, also, I noticed that with the Morphe palettes, you also get a lot of fallout. Now, a lot of fallout is one of the reasons why you will not have a lot of pigment, because that means that majority of the eyeshadow is not even staying on your brush. So boom, there's the answer to your problem. But yeah, so regardless, I still use the red because I still have to go with the look. It's the whole purpose of the game. And I just tried to make it work as best to my ability. And as you will see, it just didn't work. Like it just wasn't working. But I can say for the most part, what it did do was it helped create I don't know the actual term for it, but it created like a backsplash. So when I finally did go back in, but I still used the palettes that came out in the spin, I decided to go back over that red on my eyelid, and I used my MYO Color Stacks, and that red, those are actually pressed pigments. Those are not eyeshadows, those are pressed pigments. So what you see is definitely what you get, and that helped me intensify the red, because the look that I kind of came up with as far as going with was I wanted to do a tri-color lid per se, I guess, and I wanted to make sure that each color was heavily pigmented and visible, so if you looked at the eye, you knew what colors were there. But at the same time, I did not want it to be so harsh where you looked here, it was red, and then you looked there and then it was gold, and then you looked there and it was silver, and it was just like super obvious. So yeah, of course blending played a role in that situation as well. But yeah, so like by this point I was like literally over it. I was like, this is not working, this is not as red as I want it to be. Look like I have a freaking rash on my lids, like what the fuck is going on? But for the sake of the game, I still stuck with it. I stuck with the crap, and yeah. So now what I basically started doing was I decided, just so that it can kind of like intensify the look, I was hoping that it would darken the red, or at least bring depth to the eye, so it can at least look a little bit more pigmented. I decided to go in with a dark brown shade from the Morphe. Okay, don't quote me on this, I don't know my palettes like that. The Morphe 350M palette. And with that dark brown, I just basically applied that straight into the crease. And it kind of did intensify the color, I guess you could say. Well, it didn't intensify the color. It just brought depth to the eye in the crease, where it gave the illusion of the red being a little bit darker than what it actually was. Because literally, it looked like I got punched in the freaking eyes, or like I just had a super itchy eye and it just turned super pink. But yeah, so now I'm just trying to blend everything out, make sure it's even and whatnot. And now I'm going into the MYO stacks. These stacks I came across from just doing my research, looking for pigmented eyeshadows. Like, I was dying for pigmented eyeshadows. Oh, pause. So what I basically did before I went into the gold was I cut my crease. Now I did a half cut crease. So yeah, I just basically used my NARS concealer and I believe it's Chanel. And yeah, I just basically figured out where I wanted the red area to basically stop and kind of like separate that from the rest of the eye. But yeah, once I basically carved out where I wanted everything to be separated at, I was also visually, while I was doing this, I was visually like laying the colors on my eye, just so that when I got to the color, I didn't like look stupid trying to apply it and not even knowing where I wanted to apply it at, because, you know, this is gonna be on YouTube. Didn't want you guys making fun of me, so yeah. Tried to work with what I had. So now I'm going into the MYO stack now, and I went for the gold. The gold is a part of the s'mores stack, and I used a flat brush because, again, this is not an eyeshadow, it's a pigment. So with a pigment, you don't brush it on, you basically pack it on, and the more you pack on, the more intense the color is, I guess you could say. Now about this MYO stacks, I came across them looking for pigmented eyeshadows, like I was saying, and I seen a couple people using different pigments or whatever. Again, like, they're pigments, they're not eyeshadows, but at that point I didn't know that. So I seen people using pigments, and I'm like, well, what is pigments? Like, what is the difference? Is it like eyeshadow before they put it in the tins and put it in the trays or whatever? No, like, pigments is something else. I don't know what, but whatever. So yeah, I was on Instagram, and I guess from me like searching up so much makeup and stuff like that, there was a section in the newsfeed area where it was showing these stacks of pigments, and I looked on their page, and I seen they had uploaded like different pictures and videos of people who had also bought the stacks and used them to create looks, and I was like, wow, like, they're actually pigmented. These may be a good investment. So not only did I get one, I got 3 stacks, and they have the s'mores stack, which is like your earth tone colors, like your browns, your tans, your golds. Then they have like a neon stack, which is like your iridescent, well, yeah, your iridescent colors and your neon colors. And then they have a rainbow stack, which is like your normal 7 colors in a rainbow or whatever. So each stack is 10 pigments. So in total, I wound up with 30 pigments. So now I finished basically packing on that gold. So I went in and started packing on that red. At this point, I really didn't know what I was doing anymore. I was just doing. Like, I was just hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Because I have never in my life ever used these colors before. I usually stick to my normal earth tone colors because I feel like it's just easier, and that's actually not me. Like, I like to be adventurous when it comes to makeup, but sometimes I just don't know how to. So a game like this actually brings me out of my so-called comfort zone when it comes to makeup. And yeah, in the end it kind of like worked out. So you guys, these things are like super messy. Just throwing it out there, like the containers that they put the freaking pigments in are like super tiny, super short, but yet they stack like a lot of pigment in there. And don't get me wrong, like a person that is buying this, they want a lot of pigment in there so that they can do multiple looks, but they do not accommodate you with the proper size container for it to go in. So when you open them, you're like literally sitting there opening them like you're opening a freaking box with a freaking mirror in there that you don't want to fall and break, because the fallout is ridiculous. And then when you have to close them back, even worse. And if you notice, like as I was using the pigment, I was tapping it, trying not to move the pigment around in the container that it was in, because if it moves over to the sides, then when you go to put the top back on, like it just blows out a whole bunch of pigment all over the place. I done had to clean up so many times dealing with these things. That's why I kind of don't use them. But for looks like this, I'll just deal with it, you know. So yeah, I got the red on, I got the gold on. I went back into the gold because I felt like when I started putting the red on and trying to blend it into the gold, so it wasn't like this harsh line, that it started actually overtaking the gold and it wasn't as gold anymore. So I just wanted to go back over that and make sure that that gold was as visible as possible. And then I just used a clean brush to blend out any harsh lines or whatever. Listen, I was trying to make this thing work. Like literally, I was trying to make it wearable, where if I had to run outside, I wouldn't feel like Bozo the Clown, you know, because I started feeling that way. So yeah, just blend. Like Jesus Lord, like I started feeling like this was a mistake. But yeah, so now I'm gonna go into the neon stack, and the pigment looks white, but it comes out like a whitish silver. It's like iridescent, I guess you could say. So I just went with that for the silver look, and I placed that on the middle of the lid in between the red and the gold to make that tri-color lid. Now this color is very hard to work with when you're dealing with other intense colors like a red and a gold, because what'll happen is it'll start to blend in with the other colors and mix. So I started blending with the red, looking pink, and then blending with the gold, making it look lighter gold. So I literally had to sit there and pack on pigment after pigment after pigment just to make sure that you could see the white sections on the eye. I mean, not white, silver. And then again, after I made sure everything was placed where I wanted it, I just went in, brushed in those areas, like blended those areas, just so again you don't see any harsh lines. Guys, yo, this whole look turned crazy. Like I really started feeling crazy looking, like I was over it. So now I just went in with this small brush to kind of put like some glitter in the tear duct area of my eye, literally trying to bring this look to life. I kid you not, guys. If any of you guys try to recreate this, please tag me in it, because I would love to see your remixes to this look. I'm pretty sure somebody would like this look and would just know how to make it better. And yeah, so now the look is basically done. I'm just trying to clean up those crazy areas. So now I'm going under the eye and I'm adding those colors that I added to the top of the lid. Now this is where I was just like, oh girl, like you really had something and you messed it up. Because when I did the colors to the under eye, and which I usually don't do because I feel like it never looks as nice as everybody else's on YouTube, I felt like I looked like I had rabies or something. Like, I don't know, like my eyes just started looking crazy. The gold was, I don't know, maybe it just started blending with my with my skin tone. I just felt like I looked sick in the face. So I simply just went over it with like a darker red, just trying to salvage this look as much as possible. You guys, I had so much fallout all over the place. It was all over my hands, my dresser, my freaking fingers, like everywhere. So yeah, this is how it looks for right now. And this is how it looked after I did a little mascara and a little eyeliner. Tried to, I swear. You guys, I swear, I tried so hard. But it honestly doesn't look bad. Like, I don't mind going outside with it. Alright, you guys, so this wraps up the video of my makeup game. As you see, I use this app. It's called Tiny Decisions. Again, I'm gonna put a clip in the video, somewhere in the video, and I'm also gonna write it in the description box. I basically just used it, made 2 separate wheels, made one with the different palettes that I own, and then the other one with just different colors, and I spent it, and what came out I made a look out of. I'm not gonna lie, for someone who's not so lit at doing makeup or whatever, and I don't do it often, I wouldn't mind going outside like this. I don't know, this could be a look, who knows. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below, and click that bell for more videos. Bye.